Welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, your home for discussions and debates about all things animation. Each week, we'll rank, review, and revel in animated shows from yesterday and today, and from around the world. So grab your Acme slingshot, set your mobile suit to autopilot, and put on your mouse ears. The Animation Station Podcast begins now.
So, among probably many other things, it's National Podcast Day?
It's National Podcast Day.
Because every day is National Something Day, and
Yeah.
it's like there's tons of things on every single day. But one of today's things is Podcast Day.
Today is National Podcast Day.
Wow.
Yesterday, what was yesterday? Coffee Day?
Coffee Day.
And Wednesday was Corn Dog Day.
Oh.
That's why you got corn dogs.
Oh, is that why they did 50
Yep,
cent
that's why you
corn
got
dogs?
corn dogs.
Okay. Seems like they do that about every other month at Sonic now, though.
Yeah, it's not special anymore.
Oh, it's still special, but not as special.
Yeah.
Because it used to be just Halloween.
I remember when it used to, exactly, when it used to be Halloween. It was like 50 cent corn dogs, and you're like, what?
For any of you guys out there that don't know, we record in Oklahoma, which is the home of Sonic Drive-Ins.
And some of us are from Shawnee, Oklahoma,
which is
the
literal
home of Sonic Drive-Ins.
Exactly. And so here,
Shout out to Shompton.
there are more Sonics than anything. Probably more Sonics than churches. Probably more Sonics than 7-Elevens, although that's probably close.
I think I think Sonic is global now. I think
yeah,
have
they're
them all
everywhere.
over.
But here, it's a special
Well, they don't
thing.
have 6 in one town like Shawnee.
Yeah, or 6 on one road like Northwest Expressway.
Yeah.
You know, it's crazy how many Sonics are here.
Yeah, like
That makes sense.
For a population of like 15,000 people that Shawnee has, we have 6 Sonics.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Amazing.
13,000 people is very generous. I'm not 100% sure how many people. I doubt it's 13,000. It's probably like 10.
Maybe. Yeah. It's not very big.
It's
I
not.
know that much. Well, interestingly enough, we did our top 5 podcasts on our last episode. So go back and check that out.
Yeah, we didn't plan
In
this out.
celebration of National Podcast Day. Are there like calendars out there that tell people what all these national days are? Because I never know until people start posting.
It's called the internet.
It's just the internet?
I guess.
Like people just look up what is today.
The internet just creates, days that they want. Let's make
insane.
this international, George R.R. Martin Appreciation Month.
Sure.
Or something like that. I guess it would be Appreciation Day.
So could we somehow pick a day next year and make it National Animation Station Podcast Day?
Yeah, we have to be bigger.
Well, let's be bigger by next year,
bigger
and
by
let's
next
do
year.
that.
Okay.
Because I think that would be neat. And I think we deserve it.
And on that, welcome to the Animation Station Podcast, episode 62.
Mm-hmm.
We can almost file for AARP. My name is Josh.
I'm Gavin.
And this week we're going to be talking about The Book of Life.
Mm-hmm. From 2014.
2014. Is it
I didn't think it was that old. No, 20th Century Fox
20th Century
and
Fox.
Real FX.
Real FX.
Yep.
Real Flicks.
Real FX. Yeah.
All right. Gavin, you got anything for the news?
Well, first of all, I'd like to start off with a correction from our last episode.
Oh,
Because-
correction time from Gavin Alderson.
Exactly. So last time we were doing our top 5 podcasts, and I dinged one of my favorite podcasts because I said they were not on iTunes. Well, basically, I think it was the same weekend that we recorded this podcast got on iTunes. So they're now on iTunes. I'm now subscribed, and I can now keep up with them. It's none other than the Squared Co podcast.
With our friend Jared Mariyama.
Jared Mariyama and co-host Mark Morris, they talk to artists and creatives, and they're really cool. They do a lot of the same things we do, except they talk to more artists. We usually talk to voice actors. But they do kind of the same thing.
Speaking of voice actors, go check out our episode with Phil Lamar, the voice of probably your childhood.
Yeah, Samurai Jack, most notably to me. But yeah, Squared Co. Go check them out. They're on iTunes, so if you're an iTunes listener, you can now subscribe to them.
All right, you got anything else? Because I'm about to,
You got a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I'm about to go in.
Well, also earlier this week, we gave you guys a bonus Cartoon Cafe review of the new Lego Ninjago movie. So I thought we'd Ninja Go. So I thought we'd update everybody on the box office for the opening weekend. That's Turtles, right?
That is Turtles.
Okay, that's
Vanilla Ice, man.
Yeah, it is. So this movie has a budget of $70 million, and they've already made almost half of that back. Because opening weekend worldwide, they've already made $38 million at the box office. It was number 3 behind Kingsman and It.
I would be interested to know what like a Batman made opening weekend.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. If you want, I can look it up while you do the other news.
Okay, yeah, do that.
Cool.
Alrighty, folks, for the news that I have today. First off, a little live action news. J.J. Abrams and Paramount Pictures will be doing... Hold on, before you here. We'll be doing a Your Name or Kimi no Na live action movie. So based on the extremely popular anime film, they're going to be doing a live action.
Are they gonna do it with it what they did to Death Note? Are they gonna bring it to Seattle?
Here's the thing. All right. Okay, soapbox time, guys. Here we go. This will be fun.
Okay.
With Death Note, you can switch up the story. I mean, you can change characters out. That part is not too big of a deal. Because with Death Note, there's nothing really ingrained in a certain aspect of society. Whereas with Your Name, there is no possible way that you can do that without changing the story. I mean, just like basically, taking out half the story. Because it's so ingrained in Japanese lore and Japanese culture that there's no possible way. The whole part with the spoilers for Your Name, if you're one of the 3 people that didn't see it, the whole part with Gavin, I need eye contact. Sorry. The whole part with the sake.
Yeah.
How are you going to do that? There's no equivalent. Like,
if you Americanize
if you're
it,
Americanize
it's got to be
what's
Japanese.
the equivalent?
Yeah, I agree.
Does she work at a brewery and she's, sniffing, like, chewing hops and spitting it into a thing? Is it going to be like Anheuser-Busch? You can't do it.
I agree. You got to keep
the whole part about her
Japanese.
being a priestess. Like, there's no, or I guess she's technically a shrine maiden, not a priestess. We don't have the equivalent here unless you're going to make her a nun. I mean, there's nothing that you can do.
Yeah, I agree.
So with this movie, and since it's JJ, and he's pretty good at casting. So I would like to see him make it in Japan.
Make it in Japan?
Make it in Japan.
Oh, yeah.
This will be a Japanese movie.
Agree.
I would say, I'm not sure if they would, or at least give us Japanese actors, something. I don't know if they would
needs to be.
Make it all in Japanese, or if they would be speaking in English. There's where we have a
I can't see J.J. Abrams doing a foreign language film.
Exactly. That's
I really
the thing.
Can't.
I would love. I think it would be cool if he did. I don't see it either. Mm-hmm. But I mean, Stranger Things have happened, and Stranger Things premieres this month. So oh yeah, we forgot to say this is Spooktober, everybody.
Oh, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
Josh, cut that.
Yeah, don't do that. Every time you do that, you just leave it in.
I leave it in. Josh, cut that. So I mean, yeah, I think it can work if they do it, like if they don't Americanize it. Mm-hmm. This is a movie that you can't do. Death Note you can get away with. Because, I mean, that's just a Death Note, anybody can find it. Mm-hmm. Whatever. No big deal. That's like trying to do like Rurouni Kenshin. Can't do Rurouni Kenshin not in feudal Japan. It's impossible.
Right.
You don't know what Rurouni Kenshin is, do you?
Yeah, no, I know enough about it. Yeah, I know enough
That's like
about
doing it would be like doing Cowboy Bebop, but actually making them cowboys.
Well, that's actually
all American.
It's a great thing you just did there, because the example I was going to bring up is the Magnificent Seven being drawn from Seven Samurai.
Yeah.
You could, if you completely, take it out of context and put it in something different, mirror that story. I don't know why you would in the case of Your Name. That wouldn't make any sense. But when we're talking about a period piece, you could definitely throw it into a different period that maybe shares some of the same ideals. And, like Seven Samurai and Magnificent Seven. But in the case of Your Name, yeah, I totally agree. Like, why would you put this anywhere but in Japan with Japanese actors?
Mm-hmm. I don't see why you, like, to even attempt to do it differently would, one, be an injustice, and two, would probably suck. I mean, it's not, I mean, it is a piece that you have to do in Japan. There's no way around that. And I mean, there's no equivalent to what you can do unless you're going to make it in Italy and she's going to stomp on some grapes and he's going to drink wine instead of sake. And I guess she spit in the grapes or she's got fungus on her feet. I don't know. I don't know how you're going to do it. You can't do it. It has to be the sake.
Priestess toe jam.
Exactly.
Well, I'm happy for J.J. Abrams because I think this is going to give him just a great opportunity to exercise his lens flare muscles, which he wants to do.
That comet is going to look fantastic.
Gonna be lens flares everywhere.
Oh my gosh. It's going to be, I mean, there were already lens flares in the anime. So
I know. That's what I'm saying.
If we have real lens flares, that'll be crazy.
Abrams.
All right. Move on from Your Name. If you guys want to talk the words, if you want us to talk more about Your Name, let us know in the comments below.
Yeah.
On to more bits.
Okay.
Teen Titans Go will be getting a big screen movie adaptation.
That's cool.
In July of 2018.
That's soon.
That's very soon.
Have they started it?
I don't know.
Or is it going to be just like episodes of the show put on screen?
No. If it's them, it'll probably be like. Remember when they did Trouble in Tokyo, Teen Titans?
Huh?
Did you watch Teen Titans?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So when they did Trouble in Tokyo, I don't know if Trouble in Tokyo ever came out on the big screen, but it would be like a full length. It's probably gonna be like an hour 45 of show. I don't know what they're gonna do. I would love for them to. What would be great? What would be absolutely fantastic if it starts Teen Titans Go and then halfway through they stop and they go back to the original animation.
Nice.
That would be fantastic.
Yeah, like an Oz kind of thing.
Huh?
Like they just switch from
black
black
and white
to color.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, that comes out in July.
Cool.
The My Little Pony movie comes out this week.
You gonna see it, dude?
Yeah, I'm gonna see it.
Nice.
And look for a Cartoon Cafe soon-ish.
Okay, cool. We're gonna have a guest on that one. When are you going?
I'm going with your wife on Thursday.
She's going to see it?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
Dude,
okay.
I had like $30 in AMC Stubs thing, so I just redeemed them and bought 2 tickets.
Nice. Okay.
Also premiering this week, Season 2 of Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans on Toonami.
Which sounds like just the darkest show ever.
Oh, yeah, kids die. If you want to see anime children die, then yeah, Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans.
Oh, that's funny.
You know who's in Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans?
Is it Johnny Young Bosch?
Johnny Young Bosch is in this movie.
How many shows is he in? All the shows?
Pretty much.
Okay.
If it's a good show,
he's in
Johnny Young Bosch is in it.
Nice.
We also released... remember me talking about The Silent Voice? It's the anime about the deaf girl,
yes,
and then the boy, and then he's mean to her.
Mm-hmm.
They released the English dub cast.
Okay, now that was a film, right? Not a series.
Oh, it was a manga series or manga series, whatever. Manga
forever.
Manga forever. Good old Ram Tiggins. That goes off Netflix.
I know, I saw that.
That's so sad. I may watch the first episode tonight. Just be like, oh, goodbye. Bye, Coach and Seven. What was I talking about?
Force, you're hawking it.
Force. What were we talking? Oh yeah, the Silent Voice. So it was a manga series, and then they made it into a live action. No. They made it into an anime movie.
Okay. And that's what they're talking about, right? Is the voice cast for that?
Yeah, the voice cast for that. So we're getting a home media release. I don't know if we're gonna, because we're getting a theatrical release, but I don't know if we're getting a dub theatrical release or just a sub theatrical release.
Who's doing it? Funimation?
No, not Funimation. I believe it is Sentai or Nav.
Or G-Kids.
Naya. I doubt it's G-Kids. But what we have for the main character, Shoya, we have Robbie Daymond, who, what was he in that you would know? Remember Padma Inverted?
Uh-huh.
He was Portia.
Okay.
The best friend.
Yeah.
The one who didn't get with Padma. That was my boy, Michael Sinclair. We also have, what's cool is Shoko, who is the deaf girl. Mm-hmm. She's going to be played by Lexi Cowden. And Lexi is a deaf actress herself.
Really? That's the fire alarm.
Something's
Did
burning.
you hear Brady curse? We should leave that in.
Don't worry, it's in.
Is he cooking? Is that what
Yeah, he's cooking. Well, he's not cooking, he's burning.
He's burning. He's failing at cooking.
Yeah, so Lexi, she is a deaf actress. So I think it's actually pretty cool that they're going to have a deaf actress play a deaf girl. I think that's
fantastic.
That's really good casting, and it's pretty good. I like it. I think that's a really good choice.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be directed by Stephanie Shea, which is pretty cool. And my boy, Michael Sinter-Nicholas, is going to be in it.
Nice.
Dude from Your Name and main kid from Summer Wars.
Oh, cool.
So.
Yeah, he was really good. Nice.
Other than that, I got no news.
Well, that was a good bit of news.
Yeah.
Lots going on in the world of animation.
What's going on?
Always exciting. You can smell the smoky, charred goodness.
All right. So, we ready to talk about this?
Let's talk about it. So, as you mentioned, it is now Spooktober.
Okay, Gavin, you ready to go with the official Spooktober theme song?
Go.
Josh, roll the Spooktober music now. And are you ready, Gavin?
I'm ready.
Okay, we're going to sing it together. Are you ready? And ghosts and ghouls and witches and... Why aren't you singing?
I don't know what you're doing.
Oh. You didn't?
We didn't have rehearsal.
Oh, you weren't... Oh.
I wasn't in your head. I sometimes... No, that's not true. I'm never in your head, so yeah.
Well, that's sad.
So anyway...
Josh, cut that.
Spooktober 2.
Spooktober 2, the Re-spookening.
The Re-spookening.
We were going to go with Electric Spookaloo, but no.
Yeah.
It's the Re-spookening.
The Re-spookening. Exactly. I think that works better. So we've got a lineup of 5 spooky movies for the month. And our first one
was Pixar's Coco.
Almost. We decided to do Book of Life from 20th Century Fox and Real FX. And it has incredible similarities from what we can tell to a forthcoming movie from Pixar called Coco. And it's basically around the story of the Mexican celebration of Dia de Muertos. And
Isn't it De Las?
No.
It's not De Los Muertos?
No.
It's just
I did
De
some
Muertos?
reading on it, and that's what English people say.
Oh, we put the last in there?
Yeah. But it's Dia de Muertos, and then one of the days is called like Dia de los Muertos. Something like that. Because like there's 3 days. There's 3 days. There's the 31st of October, the 1st, and the 2nd of November. So it's a 3-day festival. Anyway, this movie centers around all of that. Yeah, Coco comes out in November, like late November, which is...
Oh, it's a late November?
Yeah.
It's not like November 3rd?
No, I thought it should be like a Halloween release, but it's in November.
Oh, well, I was thinking, well, why don't they just go with, the Day of the Dead?
Yeah,
Get it as
you would
close to
think
that
so.
as possible.
I'm not sure what their timing was. I'm sure it had to do with other releases because it's more important to release.
Yeah, November
Not
22nd,
competing with
which is
other-
weird.
Yeah, well, that's their Thanksgiving weekend release, so that kind of makes sense.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're doing Day of the Dead, be like,
Yeah.
because you know what's great? Because if November 2nd
see,
is the
that's-
Day of the Dead, November 2nd is a Thursday. You can
Yeah.
release on a Thursday.
That's true. That's
and
true.
then the win
But-
Thursday, Friday.
Yeah.
Way to go, Pixar.
Way to go, Pixar!
Way to-
You've disappointed Josh Kane yet
Disney
again.
does it again.
So anyway, back to Book of Life. Book of Life, directed by Jorge Rodriguez. One of the producers is Guillermo del Toro, who definitely has his visual stamp all over this movie. And it's basically a classic story of 2 boys who like the same girl and
Manolo
kind
and
of
Joaquin.
which way will fate lead them all and
And Maria.
which one will Maria choose. and you have kind of the two deities that center around the Dia de Muertos, Sebulba, and what was her name?
Hold on, I got it.
I can't remember.
La Muerta.
La Muerta. That should be easy to remember. And they kind of are controlling things.
And then there was Ice Cube.
She controls the land of the remembered, and then he controls the land of the forgotten, basically, which is the crappy place. And he's sick of it, and he wants to trade. So he does a wager, and they basically each wager on one of these boys. Maria will pick that one, and then the adventure ensues. So, Josh, what are your initial thoughts about this movie? Like, what are you feeling right now? We just finished watching it. Are you like, yes, Dia de Muertos, great? Or are you like,
It makes me... I know it's not technically Spanish, but it kind of makes me want to, maybe look into my Spanish heritage just a tad bit more. Because I'm like, oh, man, I wish I could speak Spanish. That's the one thing I'm like, I grew up with that and then became removed from that I'm like, ugh.
Yeah. I honestly wish that I had been able to keep up my Spanish speaking as well. I was more or less fluent. I went all the way through AP Spanish. But, I grew up in Salt Lake City, Utah. Not a lot of chance to use Spanish there. And then I just kind of... Well, then I moved to Phoenix, where there was. And then I moved to Dallas. And then, and more, there's much more of, Mexican or Spanish-speaking people in America. So more and more I get... exposed to it, but it's been so long now that I've forgotten so much. I think if I just took like a refresher course, I could get a lot of it back. So yeah, I'd like to retouch with that. I don't personally think I have any ethnic ties to either Spain or anything south of the border. I don't know, but I may.
Spain's in Europe. So.
That's why I said or.
Oh.
But my last 2 years, we were learning Castilian Spanish instead
Castilian.
of yeah. Mm-hmm.
Get that listed in there.
I love it.
But I mean, yeah. So I remember, like growing up, I kind of like went away from that side of the family. I think when I was like 9 or 10.
Oh, okay.
So I've been removed for a long time, 18 years. Oh, yeah. Pretty much. So.
Yeah. So did you speak it pretty well?
I did a little bit, like stuff that my grandma taught me, and she would always call me Ashwa, so I'm like, oh yeah, it's me.
Nice.
But yeah, so I mean, and we would go to, like my friend, well, not my friends, it would be my cousins. So we would go to my cousin's house, and they would have like all kinds of, food and everything, and there'd be a bunch of people there. And there'd be a bunch of people there speaking stuff that I didn't know what the heck they were speaking. So I had to learn to pick up some things. Sure. So that's why I can pick up some things, and I can do an accent. That's about it.
Yeah.
So like I could repeat stuff back to them, not really knowing what it meant. So if someone would be like say like hello or be like my blah 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 blah, I'd be like I can repeat that, but that's all I can do. I can repeat it.
Right.
So.
Yeah. See, that was always my problem.
I mainly hung out with my female cousins because they all spoke English.
Oh, okay.
So it's like, hey.
Nice. Yeah, that was always my problem. I could never hear it as well as I could speak it. Because I could speak it pretty darn well, but I always had a hard time, like, in conversation, like, oh, wait, say that again? Like, translating it in my own ear. Anyway, enough about linguistics.
But anyway, what did I think about this movie?
Yes.
Tangents. That should be the name of this podcast.
The
just like, welcome to the
podcast.
Tangents. I mean, I like the movie.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Corey could not be here today.
Yeah,
he is at the work.
We miss you, Majestic One.
Yeah, So
you do too.
Yeah, but I mean, I know he was not as thrilled with this movie.
Yeah,
he did not like the whole block aspect and everything like that. But for me, I was like, I understand it. I get that. That's part of the story. And I actually kind of thought it worked out pretty well. I liked what they did with it. I liked, like, especially like the grandma, where I'm going into characters and stuff. Like how they're all wooden, but like her wrinkles were just like, warps in the wood and everything like that. I thought that was good. Story-wise, I mean, I liked the movie. I thought it was good. I'd like to watch it again. In fact, if you'll leave it, I'll probably watch it again tonight.
Okay. Hopefully that middle bit clears up. I don't know what that was.
Yeah, that was weird.
I think I kind of remember that happening the first time I watched it. I don't feel like you lose any story. You get the gist of what's happening in that scene, and then it cuts back on right at the end of that scene. So, anyway.
I will say it was very long, but there wasn't a part in the movie where I'm like, come on. There wasn't anything where I was like, it's spaced very well. So, I mean, I didn't think there were any spacing issues.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that.
I mean, I thought it was good. I mean,
cool.
I say I mean a lot because I'm trying to think of negative things to put along with it, but I can't really think of anything I was too negative about.
Yeah, it's weird.
I mean, some of the characters were a little, like the background I just broke my pen. The background villagers, there were a lot of the marionettes that looked the exact same. And you know me, I'm not about that.
Yep.
I'm like, give everybody a different personality. I thought it was cool that Miguel makes a special appearance in this as a small orphan boy with hat.
And guitar.
I thought that was great.
Hilarious.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of stuff wrong with it, but I mean, yeah, I really liked the movie. I thought it was really cool.
I mean,
it makes me want to go to Spain because I want to go see, bullfight. It's one of those things I've always wanted to do because my dad is like his mom is 100% from she's Spanish, and so he's half Spanish, and he would go to Spain all the time. So he would tell me like all the stuff that they went to.
Oh,
like he's done the running of the bulls, and he's
would you do that?
I don't know. But he's like, yeah, you run with the bulls, they run them into the stadium, and then they kill them, and then you eat them. So it's like, oh, that seems like fun. So part of me is like, I'd like to do that.
Yeah, interesting. Well, my general impressions of the movie are largely the same. I liked it, which is surprising because I don't remember if I told you or not, but I bought this sight unseen many months ago, and I began watching it, and I turned it off halfway through. I may have not been in the right mind space. I don't know what, but I was like, oh my gosh, I can't really take this movie right now, and I stopped it. And then when we decided we were going to watch it, well, I guess I already knew we had it on our schedule. So I was like, I'm going to wait until then because I don't know if I can do this twice. I don't know why I was so against it. There was something just not working for me. But today, I really enjoyed it.
I remembered you buying it, and it was sitting on your shelf for the longest time. It was one of those ones that you didn't put in between. You
I had it laying there, so I'd remember to watch it. Yeah. Well, I finally did, and... I just had a problem with it for some reason. And then, so watching it today, I came in with a very low bar because I was like, okay, let's just get through this. But maybe because of that, I really enjoyed it today. Like I just had a great time. I think a lot of it too may have been that I've spent the last couple of days kind of reading about Dia de Muertos and just kind of learning a little bit, with recent events in Mexico, storms and earthquakes and stuff like that. I've felt for Mexico a lot, and I just think it's such a cool, vibrant, amazing neighbor that we have that, it just sucks that they're dealing with what they're dealing with. They're a poorer country, and I think it stinks that the richest country in the world sits right next to them and they suffer. I have a problem with that. So anyway, I've been thinking about Mexico a lot lately, so maybe that's why. But I really enjoyed a lot of the authenticness of this movie. They really just celebrated this most famous of Mexican celebrations. And I love the colors and the pageantry and just the ideals behind it. Whatever you believe religiously or spiritually or about the afterlife, throw that aside. Just the idea of it, just the sentiment of it is a beautiful thing. Yeah. And I love it. And I appreciate how they just tried to explode that fiesta all over the screen in this movie. And I think they did a fantastic job that way. The story, like you mentioned, I like, and it's a pretty classic story. I mean, we've seen that story told a million times. Yeah. And I like that it ends up happy for all parties at the end.
Yeah.
They all are like, okay, we're still
even
good.
the villains. La Muerta and what was his name?
Sebulba. Yeah.
There's an X. I
Something
don't know
like
how
that.
X's go. I like that they were never like big villains in it. They're just like, we'll see what happens. It's very like Story of Job, kind of.
Yeah.
But so, I mean, they're just kind of like, oh yeah, and like they're in love with each other and totally fine at the end too. They're just like, we're just having fun, YOLO, right?
It's totally awesome.
Well, technically not YOLO because we brought him back. So,
Yolt.
You only live twice. Well, that's technically a James Bond movie, so I don't think.
Is it? You only live twice?
That's the one with Sean Connery, and they're in. They go to Japan and they fight ninjas.
Sure, that sounds like a James Bond movie.
They like. There's a big volcano, and then like they all like come down in the volcano, like the ninja guys, and they're like shooting people, and it's pretty cool. I think Doctor No's in that one. I think it's one of the ones with him. I think he escapes.
All right, back to Book of Life. So, what do you think about the characters? You started to mention the grandma. What's your idea of the characters?
Great. I liked her. It's like, Mom, what are you here for? Like cholesterol.
I
thought it was good. We can go over the voice cast just a bit.
Okay.
As Manalo, we have Diego Luna. Maria was Zoe Saldana. Joaquin was Channing Tatum, which Corey said that he hated Channing Tatum in this, and I was like, oh no, that kind of hurts. So I was going in thinking this is going to be atrocious.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I was out. I was like, there was like only a couple parts where I could hear him as Channing Tatum.
Yeah, it was kind of like...
It was like at the beginning when he's like, hey, buddy, you go, Marie's coming back. I'm like, okay, cool. There's Channing Tatum. And then it just stopped and he was Joaquin from then on.
It was kind of like, what's his face as the Beetle in Kubo?
McConaughey?
Yeah, McConaughey. It's kind of like that, where we went in with much trepidation, but it just worked. He kind of did a great job.
Ron Perlman as, is it Zibalba?
Yeah.
Z? We're going to do the Z?
I don't know.
Christina Applegate as, she's Mary Beth, the lady at the beginning. The
tour guide.
The tour guide, who is La Muerta.
Yeah.
Ice Cube. That part was the worst part. Like for me, that was the worst because I'm just like, oh, it's just Ice Cube. Yeah. It's not Candlemaker. It's just like, oh, that's Ice Cube.
Yeah. I don't know if people have problems with some of the casting choices since it's not a Mexican cast. So he would be an example of that. But I mean, I thought he did an okay job.
Katie del Castillo, Castillo,
mm-hmm.
As La Muerta. My boy Hector.
You can't even say it.
It's Hector Elizondo.
I don't know who that is.
Oh, I'll show you a picture. You know Hector Elizondo.
Oh, yeah, I think I've seen him and stuff.
He is in everything.
Well, like another person on the list, Danny Trejo.
Oh, yeah, and then Danny Trejo.
Yeah. There's
and then other people were in it.
Lots of other people, yeah. So, but...
Oh, yeah.
Did you like the characters, though? Like, I think the voice acting was good. I mean, it wasn't the greatest voice cast ever.
I thought Diego Luna was good.
Yeah, he was good.
Zoe Saldana...
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't like a fan of Zoe Saldana.
Mm-hmm.
I liked La Muerta. I thought she was good. I thought Ron Perlman did really good.
Yeah, he was good.
He was a very Hades-esque character without being full Hades.
I got a lot of Hades. I thought
that was
too,
cool.
Yeah. I think his experience on this may have informed some of his voice acting on Troll Hunters because he then came in and played a great villain there too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I didn't have a problem with Channing Tatum.
I didn't either. I'm
glad he didn't try to do an accent. But I like when he did, like, in the parts where he did speak Spanish, he wasn't like, hola, or anything like that.
Exactly.
He actually put on a little bit of an accent. I was like, okay, I like it. Mm-hmm. I think it works.
Yeah.
I thought it was okay.
Ice
Cube was the worst. That was atrocious.
I didn't
Could
feel
we
that
not
bad
get
about
anybody else in there? I don't care who. You could have... where was come on, the dude from the...
I'm not in your head again.
He was Puss in Boots.
Oh, Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, Banderas.
Yeah, he could have been cool.
I was thinking of other movies that were R-rated that I can't say.
You can say R-rated movies on here. You just can't be R-rated on here.
I mean, like Desperado.
Yeah, there you go. Great movie, by the way.
There's a great scene in that movie.
Action
Scene. That's the one I'm talking about. The action scene.
Got it.
Yeah.
Well, I think the characters, aside from the voice acting, I think the characters in this are all pretty great. I really don't have a problem with any of the characters in the story. Like, I think they all serve their purpose. There's a lot of them, but I think they all serve their purpose. The only problem I have is that there are so many characters. I feel like the cast could have been distilled down a little bit, because like we have to hear a lot of lines from the mariachi band, a lot of lines from other soldiers, a lot of lines from lots of banditos. And
well, I mean,
like,
I think the only reason for the mariachis were for humor, and I hate that.
I get it. I wish they would have just been physical humor though, instead of dialogue humor.
Yeah.
That
so was a bit much.
I agree. They weren't my favorite.
Hey, we've been to 4 bars twice. I'm like, really, Cheech? Is that what we're gonna do? Okay, why not?
He didn't write the script.
I guess not, but still, I was like, oh sure.
Yeah,
do it.
I wish they were more physical with their humor instead of dialogue humor. But other than that, I mean, I think there's great characters in this. I liked the character design is really cool. We'll talk about that later. But as far as each of their stories, they are very clearly defined. You understood the rules of, honor and protecting the town, and like everything's set up really well so that every character's role. So on that level, I thought it was good.
I also did like how you knew who was going to win her affections. From the first scene.
You pretty much did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
It's Manalo. He's got this. He's got this in the bag. As long as he plays his cards right, he'll be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that was...
I love his guitar, too, with the mustache.
It was really cool.
And that one little fret that had the...
The heart?
It didn't have a heart? Skull.
Oh, it had a skull?
It had a skull.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, the heart was on the back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it was a cool guitar. It's so weird, like his character, and then him going to the land of the dead, and him being a guitar player, and his family doesn't want him to be. Like, it's so Coco. Like,
you mean Coco is so Book of the Dead.
Exactly. And I need to look it up, but I remember seeing something from Guillermo del Toro when Coco was announced. Like, he put out this thing like, hey, we don't see this as a copy. Like, we're excited to see what they come up with. We're all on board and support Pixar and what they're doing. So he was trying to express that they didn't feel like infringed upon, or like they're trying to come in and like better them or something. So hopefully it's different enough.
Do you think that's why this took so long to come out?
Maybe. I don't know.
When did this get announced? Because Coco's been in development for a long time.
2 expos ago.
So 2 expos ago, so 4 years ago?
I think. Yeah, I think it was announced in the 2013 expo.
So, I mean, yeah, that means Book of
the Dead. And all it was just the font, Coco. That's all we had.
Book of the Dead would have probably had be wrapping up production.
Yeah, because I saw...
And then they came out, and then it's like, oh, maybe we wait on this.
Yeah.
And then we don't see anything for a while.
It was Lee Unkirk he's doing Coco, and he tweeted out yesterday like some timeline thing that showed when he made the first post announcing that they were starting Coco, and it was like 1,200 and something days. So however many years that is, that's got to be like 3.5, 4 years. Yeah. So there you go. That's how long they've been in production, and so I mean they were obviously aware of Book of Life.
Yeah. I mean,
it's fascinating,
it's Hollywood. Everybody's aware of everything, especially big studios.
Sure. So I'm interested to see how different they are. It'll be neat to do a cartoon cafe and kind of do a compare and contrast with this one. I hope it's different enough. What I love is that they both really play on that orange color, which goes back to...
Yeah, that's one of the things I'm like, Coco, man. I don't know what you're doing. Because, I mean... The whole bit with the pedals and everything at the end of this, and seeing everything for Coco, I'm just like,
Yeah. Well,
this is going to be really, really close.
Well, that goes back to the marigold. The marigold is the official flower for Dia de Muertos.
Okay,
so all of the altars and all of the parade floats and all of the decorations always revolve around that orange marigold. So that's the proper thing to be using.
As long as Coco's family isn't a bunch of bullfighters. Matadors, I think there's a possibility we could be okay.
Yeah. It seems like it's not going quite that same way, but there are a lot of similarities from what we've seen so far. No dog in this one, so maybe the dog will be the differentiate. Oh, we do have a pig, so same diff. A really cute pig. It reminded me of Waddles a little bit because
when it was a baby,
really
but then they
chubby.
gave it a voice, and I was like,
it kind of had a weird
what are you doing?
Voice. You mentioned families, though, and I want to mention this because I think a huge part of the story is very much one of my favorite things about Mexican and Hispanic culture is their family units. And I love seeing how Mexican families work. And it makes sense why they do this whole Dia de Muertos thing because their family is their most important thing, and remembering their family and honoring their family is hugely important. But I love how you see time and time again families, just big families, that they just revel in that family unit and they love each other and they support each other, and it's just such a cool thing. And I think they exemplified that in this movie really well. I just wanted to get that in there.
Yeah, let's go into design.
Really good. Design. Okay, let's go into the artwork. So I mentioned the color. The color palette in this movie is insane. I adore it. It's like candy on the screen.
It is very nice. It's very pleasing to look at.
One of the most colorful movies I've ever seen, but they chose them so wisely. All of the colors fit together, even colors that you wouldn't assume would fit together. It's just so vibrant and beautiful, especially when he gets down to the land of the remembered, and it's crazy fiesta time, and it's almost all of the colors went up a notch and became neon. It's I love it. I love looking at it. And then we get to the environmental design and the character design. I loved the textures. Everything is so exquisitely textured in this movie. The lighting is so warm and rich. The town of Angelito, is that what it's called? San Angelo?
I can't remember.
Something about Angel. I can't remember right now. The town sitting on the little hill like it is, it kind of reminded me of the town in Box Trolls that's up on that hill like that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Just really cool. I love the look of it. I love all the buildings and places you can go, and I feel like you could explore that town for a long time. And then the texture goes right into the characters as, the story's being told with little wooden dolls. So all the characters are like these cool, exquisitely carved and decorated and painted wooden dolls.
Yeah.
And like you said, the grains in the wood create lines in their faces. And you see the color on them looks like it was painted on them, and little medals attached for the military men and little gold, fancy little frilly things for the bullfighters. And I just thought it was so exquisite and rich and full of things to look at. And I loved looking at it. Now I have one major exception here. I really do not like the look of any of the today footage.
The
kids that pull up in the bus, and the tour guide, and the room that they go into in the museum with all the Mexican stuff is cool, but even the tour guide, the character design there is awful. It looks like it was done 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It doesn't look like it was rendered as well. And maybe they did that on purpose to juxtapose it with the lushness of everything else.
That would make sense.
But I hate it. Anytime because they're kind of doing that Princess Bride storytelling thing where they jump back into the grandpa reading to his kid kind of thing. And anytime they did it, it was so jarring to me. I did not like the look of those kids. The kid with the bangs down over his eyes. I was
that
like,
kid annoyed me.
Come on, you don't even look like you have actual hair.
I like the roller skating Asian girl.
Oh, I didn't even notice.
Yeah, she's
just she was on roller skates.
She's roller skating the whole time.
That's hilarious. Yeah, that was my only problem. I really didn't like them.
And then the little girl from
oh yeah, from that
Cats Don't
other
Dance.
20th century. Yeah, Cats Don't Dance. It did look like her. I was trying to think of who it reminded me of. That's exactly it. So I like that device. Like I said, it reminded me of Princess Bride. Jumping back and forth to the storyteller and then back into the story.
I think it would have been better if it was live action.
It might have
honestly.
been, yeah.
If it was live action, it probably would have been
kind of like Lego Ninjago.
But then they couldn't have done that thing at the end.
They could have.
It would have. I don't know.
They could have.
Could they have?
Yeah, they could have. I think they could have. It would have been challenging. Anyway, I didn't like the look of them, but the look of everything else was just spectacular. The lighting, even when we come to the actual animation of it, the way that they moved, the action, the interplay between characters when they touched each other, when they punched each other, everything felt like it was actually making contact and was actually affecting the things around them. And I have huge respect for that, because that's the one thing, the first and foremost challenge of animation is to give things life and to make it look like they're actually interacting with the world they're in. And man, I think they did a great job with that. So lastly, we need to talk about the music. This might be the only other spot where we have problems.
There were a lot of covers. I'm like, did you guys really do Radiohead?
They did Radiohead.
Did you guys really have Diego Luna sing Radiohead?
Yeah.
Like,
they did
all right.
Bismarcky. They did. I mean, look, I didn't like that. I didn't like their musical choices.
Here's the thing. With Fox, they got money.
I get that they got money. I just don't think they fit. I don't think that. I really wish they would have done
the songs that he wrote for that Manolo wrote for Maria that he sings. Yeah. Those are good. Those are fine.
Yeah. Now,
but
I don't know.
Doing the covers is not good. I didn't like the covers.
So were some of those original? Because I assumed, just because I didn't know them, but because of the other ones, I assumed they were all covers.
No, I think the ones that when he was just singing by himself, I don't think any of those were covers.
Yeah.
I think those were all written for this movie.
Well, except when she's walking across the bridge, he's singing.
Well, yeah, he also sings "I'm a Creep" by myself, I think it's just "Creep."
Yeah, it's just "Creep."
I mean, that's no. I mean,
so the one when he's like below her balcony.
Yeah, like when he's like serenading her.
Okay.
That is other than the one on the lake.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I didn't like it.
There's only like two of them that he sings
that you feel like are originals.
That I feel like are originals.
We should look at that and see
then,
if they are.
The end.
I don't feel like any of them really had any good singing voices, so I don't know that singing was the right choice here. And if it was,
well, I
wish it was done.
He's a singer, so it makes sense.
Yeah, I get that. But
I didn't think Diego de Luna did bad.
In a lot of movies, they bring in a singing voice.
I hate that though.
Why?
Sometimes it doesn't fit.
Most of the time, it's okay. Like people don't. If they're actually singing, though,
when you can tell, and it pulls me out. Like there's a lot of older Disney stuff that they do that, and I'm like, checked out.
See,
this is not what they sound like.
I don't have as much of a problem with that because I feel like if you're a good singer, when you're singing, you don't sound like you do when you're talking because it's such a different skill. And so I don't have as much of a problem with it.
I know accents usually go away when you sing, but
so like when Simba sings, I don't have a problem that it's not Christian Bale or who did
Christian Bale.
Who was it? Why did I think Christian Bale? Who is it?
Matthew Broderick.
Matthew Broderick.
See, that pulls me out because I listened to that. I'm like, he doesn't sound anything like Simba.
He sounds so good though.
He can sound fine, but he doesn't sound like Simba.
Okay, well, this is another tangent, but I feel like
same thing with Hercules.
Oh, he's so good.
Yeah, but doesn't sound like Hercules.
I think it does. I think they did a good voice match on that one. No, you don't think so?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Brad Kane and Wiener, what's his name? Weiner. Who's that voice actor that speaks Aladdin?
Wiener.
That was in Metropolis.
I don't remember.
What's his name? Anyway.
Yeah, that like stuff like that pulls me out. I'm just like, just let them. If they can sing, just let them sing. Who cares if it's good? I mean, it's unless you're Disney and you're like, we have to have #1 blockbuster hits on our hands, so therefore we have to bring in these expensive singers.
That is sometimes true, but what I'm saying here though is I didn't feel like any of them was a good singer. First of all. Second of all, I thought they made bad song choices. I thought they should have. Everything else was so authentic. Why not make the music authentic too and not pander? I felt like that's what they were doing. I wish they would have done, Mexican songs, something that had a little more authenticity to it that was in keeping with everything else. Don't
they sing Ave Maria at one point?
Yeah, when she's leaving at the train station.
But it's not Ave Maria.
I think they say goodbye or Maria. Farewell, Maria. Yeah. The nuns, I could do without the nuns.
The nuns were great.
I'm glad you like the nuns. They didn't really do much for me. But I don't know. When he starts singing Creep, I mean, that just catapulted me right out.
Yeah, that was a bit weird. I was like, oh,
I can appreciate that
it's this song by yourself.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that it was him singing, so you didn't have that, oh, that's another singer. But just what he's singing, no. I got a major problem with the songs in this because I just didn't think they fit with the authenticness of the rest of the movie. So the score I thought was pretty good. It was decent. Yeah. It wasn't anything to write home about, but I didn't have any problems with the score. It was just those songs that they sang. Ugh.
All right, let's go ahead and rank
this. Pass it. All right, let's do it. You first this time. Oh yeah, you did take a big swig.
Like, I had to take a big drink and I was like, talk.
You're practicing ventriloquy. I was just giving you a chance.
Ventriloquy.
Yeah.
I'm going to give it 4 different points.
4? Whew. That's pretty high.
Top praise.
I
think it's better than Coco.
So far, I agree because it's a whole movie. I think I'm going to give this one a
3.5.
No, I really did like it. I think I'm going to stick with you and give it a 4. I'm surprised. I'm as surprised as anybody because, like I said, I could not get through it the first time.
Sometimes that's all you need is for like when you start it, you may not be in the right mindset. And you're just like, this is trash.
Yeah.
And you watch it again, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever made.
Right. Which probably is what has happened to you every time you've watched a Pixar movie. You've just been in the wrong mindset.
No, I've seen them all. That's the thing. See, here's the thing. You guys you and Cloud City Cast only think I've seen like 4 Pixar movies ever.
I didn't.
I've seen like all of them.
I know,
except like 2.
I was trying to make a joke here that has happened every single time you've watched a Pixar movie.
No, it's just because they're garbage.
That's not true.
Oh, no. Hate mail for Josh.
You don't get hate mail.
No one sends me hate mail. I wish people would send me hate mail. No one does. No one sends me anything. I'm just like, send all your complaints to Josh, and I just wait. All
right, haters out there.
I'm like, come on, where is it?
What's your
Let
Gmail?
me at 'em.
What's your Gmail? Throw it out there.
Just send it to animationstation@gmail.com.
Right. Animation Station.
I'm also the only one that replies to any of our stuff because you don't care.
You're the social
media guy.
Responder guy. I'm the sit over here and be awesome and entertaining guy.
When does that start? We're 62 episodes in. You're gonna.
My contract says start on episode 75, so this is all practice.
We're almost ready for good quality, guys. All right, time for a top 5.
Let's do it.
And now for another top 5.
All right, so this week on our top 5, we are going to do another thing similar to what we did a couple episodes ago, where we're going to have a topic and we've brought our ideas to the table and we're just going to kind of generate a top 5, argue it out, and make a top 5.
So basically, Gavin and I are going to pitch what we want on a top 5.
Right. And the topic today is fantasy properties, which we want to see done as either animated movies or animated series.
Now, Corey was also a part of this when we made the list during our production meeting. However, since he is not here, next week he will have I don't know, like 5 minutes to pitch us why his choices.
One or more of his should have made the list.
Exactly.
We can't argue them for you, Corey. Sorry.
Because I've not seen them.
Yeah. Okay, so, I mean, we can go back and forth here. I kind of feel like Harry Potter's the front runner, but do you want to start with one?
Yeah, I want to start with Dreams and Shadows.
Okay.
By Robert Cargill.
All right.
It's a book series. He's got 2 out right now, and then the third one is on its way.
All right.
Basically, it focuses on this kid named Colby, and he meets a djinn named Yasher, and Yasher's like, okay, I'll give you, like whatever you want, kid. You get a wish. Everybody gets one. Like Spider-Man and Family Guy. Everybody gets one. So Colby's like, I wish to be able to see fairies and go on these adventures. Like, I want you to show me, magic. Mm-hmm. And so he's like this little 6-year-old kid at the time. And so Yasher's like, really, you don't want that. Like, it's bad. Like, magic is not fun. And so, because we see the Harry Potter magic and blah, 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 but we don't see the other side of magic. Because with all of Yasher's stuff, since he's a djinn, he is there's always a price. So
okay.
Someone wants they want a puppy, and so they get a puppy. But then Yasher leaves, puppy runs out into the road, puppy's dead.
Okay.
So there's always they want this one person wants their family to be rich. Family becomes rich, then something happens, family loses all their money, dad kills the mom, kid's an orphan now. So there's dark sides to everything.
Okay.
So Colby wishes to do this. Yash tries to talk him out, doesn't really work. And then we meet he meets this other kid named Ewan, who is named after Ewan McGregor, which is great. From Train Spotting. I think that's the part.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's set today.
It's set today.
Okay,
yeah.
Got it.
It's set in Austin.
Oh.
Tejas.
Yeah, I know where Austin is.
Thank you. Good.
Austin, Massachusetts.
Austin, Massachusetts. Set in Austin, Massachusetts. But yeah, I absolutely love the book series. We get to meet fallen angels, all of the angels, mainly Beltran. Beltran? I think is his name. Mm-hmm. He's since angels are, they fall from heaven, they know what heaven is like and they can't get back there. So they're just drunks all the time because they're like, well, this just sucks.
Yeah.
We meet them. We meet, Yasher's a djinn. We meet redcaps, so little goblins. We meet fairies. They're dark books.
They sound dark.
They're very dark books.
Mm-hmm.
I absolutely love that whole entire series.
So what do you envision it being? What kind of a vehicle do you envision for this? A series or a mini-series?
It would have to be a series.
Like a trilogy of movies? You think a full series?
I want a series. I would like a series. I would like 12 episodes to go over one book. Oh, okay. I would like them to be the 45-minute episodes. I want to go all in with this because we have so much story that it's just read the books. They're right there, Gavin. They're right there.
Okay.
Just read them.
Done.
I have them on audiobook. You can listen to them while you're at work.
I can't.
Why?
I can't listen and work.
That's your fault.
I have to answer phones, so I can't listen and work.
Whatever. Loser.
I also don't believe that I can work with the same quality when I listen to things, so I don't.
Can you draw and listen to audiobooks?
No. I will miss the book. An hour will go by and I won't have heard anything.
Fine.
So.
But yeah, I want Dreams and Shadows.
You're so disappointed.
Yeah, it hurts inside.
That's all right. You won't read all of my books either.
Maybe. You've not written a book.
No, all the books on my shelf. I got some wicked basketball history books, which I can loan you. Yeah, see? Now I'm disappointed. Is it my turn?
Sure.
I think the one that I'm going to pick here, for me, okay, we've got Harry Potter on our list, and I honestly feel like that's kind of an obvious choice, just to take one of those books and make it into an animated thing, or maybe a spin-off. I think that'd be amazing. But I'm going to do a novel that came out probably about 10 years ago now called Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. Now, I know that they made a TV show on BBC of it. I don't know how far along they are. I don't know.
See, it's BBC, so assuming they go with their current format, they're probably 3 seasons in with a total of like 7 episodes.
Yeah, that follows. So the thing about this book is it's kind of like you were talking about, where it's set in our world, but magic is an actual thing.
Yeah.
And in this case, it's much more of like a historical novel. So it's set during the Napoleonic Wars between England and France. And it's basically...
Fun Napoleonic Wars fact. The Duke of Wellington, I will give you $1 if you can tell me the name of his horse.
You've done this before.
I have done this before. And it's something that you should never forget once you hear it.
I know. Horsey McHorseface.
Nope.
Dang, I was so close.
Think
I'm
about
sure.
Chew.
About Chew? Like tobacco chew?
Yeah, think about Chew. What's the leading brand?
Oh, I've got no idea.
Copenhagen.
Oh.
Yeah.
I would never have guessed
Duke of
Wellington's
name. Horse's name during the Battle of Waterloo was Copenhagen.
Nice. Okay, I will try and remember that.
There's your history lesson.
Bring it up in like another 40 episodes. We'll see if I still remember it. Copenhagen. Anyway, so it's basically a couple of English magicians like starting to research and like play with the ideas of, can we actually make magic a useful tool and give it a practical application in these wars. And so, it kind of goes from there. So it's really about these two magicians and some of the politics of the time and some of the things that were going on in Europe at the time. And I think it's a really cool, fascinating way to like retell that segment of history. And I think it would make a fantastic movie. For me, I feel like the book itself is kind of in 3 main segments, so I would like to see it as a trilogy of movies. And I think it would, I don't know who I would have animate it. I mean, if like Cartoon Saloon and those guys, Tom Moore, got involved in it, I think he would be amazing because he's got such a good connection with, that part of the world and, some of the history of it.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even say what type of
I think it'd be really cool.
Genre I wanted.
For years?
Yeah. I think an anime would probably work better for this.
Yeah. I think for that format it would, definitely. Yeah. So anyway, that's my first pick is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. I think it could be really cool. I think it would have to be a pretty serious movie, though. There's no like humor in it at all. There's not even a whole lot of action in it. So I think it would be a pretty, in my mind, like if I had it my way, it'd be at least PG-13 and a serious... I want more serious animated movies. I just do. I feel like there's a market for it. I want it to happen.
I want to do... It's a webcomic called Newman.
Oh.
I want it to be animated.
Okay.
I absolutely love it. He's basically he's a gnome.
Oh. Okay.
So I mean he's little gnomey guy, but he falls in love with a drow, which is a dark elf. Mm-hmm. And like he's basically a cop for, I can't remember what it's called, their detective agent or their police force, but he's like a detective. Is
it like in this just fantasy realm?
Yeah, it's all fantasy.
Okay.
And he gets stuck with her as a partner, this drow, and he's just like, I hate this. Like, I don't need it's one of those like very like I don't need another partner type things. And it's like a buddy cop drama, and then they fall in love, and then just hijinks ensue. It's fantastic.
That's awesome.
It's by Josh Ulrich, and if you would like to download the Vamp.
So is
download Webtoon.
Yes, I didn't have to vamp.
You didn't have to vamp. Download Webtoon, and you can watch.
Is that an app?
Read all of it there.
Is that an app?
It's an app. You can go to their website.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you just go there and you can, it's like all kinds of webcomics from all kinds of crazy people. So I say, download it. I have like I'm subscribed to like 9 webcomics, and their stuff like comes out like sometimes daily, sometimes weekly, sometimes every other couple days.
Nice.
It's really good stuff.
Nice. It sounds like it's comical.
Yes, it is hilarious.
So it's like fantasy meets a buddy cop comedy?
Yeah. And there's a lot of there's a lot of video game references, there's a lot of Dungeons and Dragons references because it's kind of like that world.
Got it.
But yeah, there's magic involved. They did this one episode where they like this one like arc where they went and these guys were doing like some like ghost hunters reality show, and then they show up and they're like, "What are you guys doing here?" We're like, "We're the security. What are you doing here?" And it kind of turned into like that episode of the X-Files.
Yeah, nice.
But those guys died at the end, so spoiler. And they're like, "Oh, well,
spoiled.
Sucks for them." That's basically what it is. Like they've seen a lot of stuff, so they're like, "Huh, dragon, eh?"
They're hardened.
Hate dragons.
Nice.
Yeah, stuff like that. It's great.
That's cool. I like it. How's the artwork in the comic? Is it good?
It's good.
Yeah. So what kind of a style do you think this would be? I'm kind of almost picturing like a domestic TV cartoon kind of style, like Cartoon Network-y kind of stuff.
I could see it on Cartoon Network, but I think it would probably be a little
like
bit...
Adult Swim?
Yeah, I could see it being on Adult Swim.
Yeah. That could be cool.
Yeah. And honestly, I think you just keep the art style. Like if you scroll up,
it kind of reminds me. It's not the same like design style, but the same execution as like Archer. Almost.
Yeah.
Where it's
if you scroll up or scroll down, you can see more. But yeah, just like that, I think it is great.
Very cool.
So like since he's a gnome, gnomes, always like they always have beards. Like I think it says in there that he shaves like
every hour.
Yeah, something like that. Something ridiculous. Like, I have to shave all the time.
Amazing. This looks really good.
Yeah, it's good, dude.
I support it. I think that's a good pick.
I wish you would do a webcomic.
Well, I don't have the stories. I can
write your stories.
All right, we'll get on it now.
Well, what do we want to write? What you want to draw?
Good question. We'll talk later.
Look for the official Animation Station comic.
We could,
coming soon.
We could do my Wheelie and Hoverduck, those characters.
I hate those characters. That's so different.
We won't do those characters then. We'll do me, you, and Corey as cartoons.
I hate those characters.
Yeah, they're terrible. All right, I really only have one other one that I'm pitching for on this list, and that is the His Dark Materials trilogy. Did you read those books?
No, I don't know what those are.
The Golden Compass, Subtle Knife, and the Amber Spyglass.
There's a bear in Golden Compass.
Yes, there is. And they made a pretty lame movie of that first one.
I remember when we had that movie, there was a lot of people that wanted us to boycott that movie.
Yeah, because some organizations said that Philip Pullman killed God in that book.
Like that.
But first of all, if you're a kid reading that, because they were all worried about the kids. Obviously, they're always worried about the kids.
Was it
no kid on the planet would have read that into that book. Like you would have. It's a stretch to. Anyway, I don't want to get off on that, but
this is the
it is. Now, this isn't saying much because I'm not a big fantasy guy. This has been duly noted, but it is my favorite fantasy literature I've ever read. It's fan-freaking-tastic. I think it's gripping. I think you would really like it. It's a young boy, a young girl, like teenage age, and they have a fantasy adventure. Be
careful when you say I like young boys and young girls. Maybe
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
I know.
You like stories of young love. You do.
Well, and then we're going to keep digging that grave. Okay, Gavin?
I'm not saying you want to go out and,
Nope, just stop there. All right.
Golden
Compass, there's a bear, right?
Yes, a big fuzzy bear. Anyway, I think it's filled with adventure. It almost crosses a science fiction line in some ways, which is probably why I like it a lot. But I think it would make a fantastic series of movies. I would like to see feature films of each of them animated, and I would like to see it done CG, and I would like it to be just kind of a very rich textured environment, kind of like what we saw in Book of Life today, but obviously with a different art style. I think it could be fantastic. When I read, if a book really conjures up a lot of imagery for me, then that sticks with me, and I feel like, okay, that's something I'd like to see visualized on screen. Most of the time, 99% of the time, when I read something, I'm happy with it as a book, and I never have a desire for it as anything else. I'm weird that way. But this is one that I thought as I read it, this would make a fantastic series of movies. So I'm pitching that one hard. Like, that one I feel like is a must on this list.
Okay. I'm going to pander.
Okay.
From 20th Century Fox, I was incorrect. Disney just does the book distribution. From 20th Century Fox, they did a live action version. 2 movies, I believe, that were First one wasn't as bad as the second one, but the second one was not good, even though it had Nathan Fillion. I'm going to go with the Percy Jackson series.
Oh.
I would love to see the Percy Jackson series animated.
How many movies did they do?
2.
That's it? Are they making more?
I think they went past 2.
Oh.
I think Sea of Monsters was the last one that
Are they
did.
done because they didn't do well?
They were not good.
Yeah.
Well, they also did that thing where they're like, okay, so we have the books, right? Yeah. Do we want to just kind of like pick and choose what we want from the books? Yeah.
Oh.
Do we also want to make the kids like way older than they should be?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They tried to go for a different demographic. Mm-hmm. Which kind of sucks.
Were they weren't going for the Harry Potter demographic?
They weren't going for the Harry Potter demographic. They were like, okay, I mean like younger children demographic.
Oh.
They didn't go for like, let's make the kids 10. Mm-hmm. I think that they're like 12. At the start of the first book. Let's make maybe 11. I don't remember. I think it's 12. Let's make them 12. Start of the first books instead of like that's what happens in the books, and then we grow up because I think then when Percy reaches 18, that's when like it all kicks off.
Mm-hmm.
Prophecies.
Sounds like Harry Potter.
Yeah. So like we could start with that, or we could just go ahead and make them like look like cast 18-year-olds. Like be like, you're 16. Be like, nope.
Nope. So like the last 5 years of Saved by the Bell when they're all like 20 something.
Yeah. Before they decide, should we just put them in college
for 10 years?
For 10 years, yeah. So
nice.
yeah, I would love for the Percy Jackson series to be animated. Now, style-wise, part of me wants 2D, but then there's another part of me that's like, I think it would probably be better as like a Troll Hunters, like a CG type thing.
Well, in a way, we kind of have Percy Jackson with Troll Hunters. It's kind of similar. I mean, they use a lot more mythological characters.
Does Jim have something, some sort of magical sword that will, if he throws it away, will just come back to him? Yes, he does. A little bit, he does. Mm-hmm. He has, Percy has a pin that does that. It's a ballpoint pin. He pulls it out, and it's a sword.
Nice. So in that world, the pen is exactly as mighty as the sword?
Pretty much, yes. I think they make it, think about that.
So clever.
Does Troll Hunters have a goofy sidekick friend?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Does Troll Hunters have a really smart female companion that we kind of think is kind of cold, like is kind of just like indifferent to the main character, but then starts to like the main character as the series progresses?
Yes, we do.
Okay, well then maybe Troll Hunters.
Nice.
But I want Percy Jackson because I want the Greek gods in.
Oh man, I can't wait for Troll Hunters.
Season 2.
Yeah,
it's soon, exactly. November. My last one.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want Critical Role.
So you want 8,000 hours of animated footage?
Well, no, because we talked about this when we did it. Because like with D&D, whenever there's like the fights that we have, like when we fight a boss and it takes an hour, that all is taking place between 1 minute.
Oh, okay. So you want it to be the actual story of the game that they do on Critical Role, and none of the actual exposition or like the actual people sitting around the table talking.
I don't
just want the actual timeline of the game.
Correct. I think it would
okay.
be cool, like, if we start off, they're sitting around, like, in the opening credits. Like, say we have them sitting around the table, and then it like dives into, and then we have them animated.
Or kind of like we had with Book of Life and things like Princess Bride. Maybe at moments you could jump back out and have them like talking about or reacting to what just happened or something, and then it goes back in. Like if they just make an epic kill, all of a sudden it cuts back out and they're like, "Oh, we did it!" And then it goes right back in. Like
See,
that could be cool.
That would be cool, and it would be really cool because I mean they already have the audio from voice actors that have done this, and they're all voice actors anyway. So if they have to re-record anything, you got voice actors. Like every single one of those people is a voice actor.
That could be cool.
It would be pretty cool, and I think it would be even better because Matt Mercer, he does the narrations, like you come into this place and blah 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 blah. So we don't really have to be like, you come into like you go into Whitestone and there's buildings here and buildings there. Like you can just like show the buildings, but Matt as the DM, he voices all of the NPC characters.
Right.
So that's even better because he does male characters, female characters, kids. Which is great, because I mean, you could literally have like a bunch of Matt Mercers just all talking at the same time. Like that's what I want for crowd noise. I would just want a bunch of Matt Mercer just talking and talking and talking, and that's just the crowd noise. And then they like talk about like, you ever notice that a lot of these people like all sound the same? Like I wouldn't cast anybody else.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't bring in like person to play, somebody, other person to play somebody. I'd be like, no, Matt Mercer plays everybody. He plays all of the NPCs because that is Critical Role.
That could be awesome. I think that's, when you guys first mentioned it, I was like, I don't see this. But now that you've re-explained it, I think it could be really fun.
Because the story of Critical Role, like in all the little parts that I've shown you, that they've done, like there's been some animated stuff on YouTube. Which some of it's really good, but it's also like just think if that was a series, it'd be fantastic.
Yeah, nice. I like that. I think that's a good pick.
Harry Potter, we're not even gonna rank it because I mean, why isn't it yet?
Yeah, I think it would have been better as an animated movie all along.
I thought they were good until about.
Somewhere between 4 and 5,
Order of the Phoenix,
when they lost their robes and they all went into an Abercrombie and Fitch ad, then it was
that's 5 because at the end of 4, I mean at 4 they're all still wearing robes. Harry's got long hair, and we're good. Yeah. And then we go into Order of the Phoenix, and they're all wearing. They've ditched the robes entirely. Yeah. And Harry's got short hair, which he never had in the books. And I'm just sitting there like, really, Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah.
Why?
And it's like,
did you want this?
Yeah. I didn't like how like he's all ripped and he's wearing like super cool clothes. Like these are a bunch of nerds. Like they're serious nerds.
Yeah.
They wouldn't, none of this works for me. I think that's where I stopped was 5. I didn't see the last 3 movies at all, but I think animated, man, it could be spectacular.
Yeah.
Even if they just did like The Adventures of Harry Potter as a series, and they just gave us like
get the Adventures of Harry Potter.
Key
Let's do
storylines
or Ron Weasley. That would be better.
That could be cool. Or and then have like little cut scenes of the Weasley twins and like just playing pranks and stuff. Like, I mean, you could have so much fun with it, but
see, that would be cool. Like if we what would be fantastic is if we do Harry Potter. Okay. Imagine, if you will, we do, I'm using hands.
Yeah, I can see.
If we do Harry Potter, but so it's an animated Harry Potter series. But it's done like Parks and Rec. So they're all off doing their Harry Potter-ness, but they're all like looking at the camera the whole time, and like you're a kid, so like you're there. It's like you're sharing it with them.
Right.
So when they like look at the thing, they're like when April looks at the camera, or Ben is like, what? And just like looks at you, you're like, yeah, I know, Ben.
I've never seen a cartoon do that.
They
would
haven't,
that translate?
which I think would be great.
I'm trying to think if a cartoon looked at me, if I would have the same kind of reaction that I do to shows like Parks and Rec?
I don't know, because we've never had that before.
Interesting thought. Interesting. I don't know that Harry Potter's the right vehicle for that, but
I just
cool.
think, well, I mean, with Harry Potter, or we could just call it Hogwarts. Mm-hmm. And then it's, they're there.
Yeah.
But we're not, like, you're right. Maybe we don't do all of Harry Potter.
Yeah, like like them hanging out in the common room or whatever.
Yeah,
and...
stuff like, and we go through all of Harry Potter. So it's just like a bunch of group. Maybe we just do a bunch of Hufflepuffs. We just say, screw it. We just show a bunch of Hufflepuffs. Yeah. And then they'll just be like, how come Gryffindor, like, I don't get it. Like, they never get in trouble. I mean, what the heck, guys? Remember when they, like, stunned a classmate? What the heck was up with that? They broke into places, skipped curfew.
Right.
And then they get awards? What happened? This doesn't make any sense.
Gryffindor exposed tonight on Hogwarts News.
Might as well. That would be hilarious. And they're just like, what do we have to do, guys? Remember when we were winning the House Cup, and then they get like 1,000,000 points at the end of the night?
Yeah.
And it's like, at the award ceremony, they just all get like 1,000,000 points, and we're just like, oh, okay, well, I guess we've lost now. But we were winning the whole entire year. Yeah. And then Harry, like, I don't know, tripped over Voldemort's shoe and caused Snape to sneeze. And he gets 100 points to Gryffindor. I don't... See, that would be hilarious.
Oh, that's hilarious. Yeah,
I think
man.
April would be I wouldn't...
Ravenclaw.
No, I would want to put her in Slytherin. But then I don't think
she would be, though.
But I think she would be more Hufflepuff because she wouldn't want to be in any of the houses.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Andy's he's Gryffindor.
Yeah.
He's just dumb.
Absolutely.
He's a dumb jock, which is a Gryffindor. That's what they all are.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I should know. I took the Potter quiz. Gryffindor.
Are you a Gryffindor?
I'm a Gryffindor. Nice. Which is weird. I didn't want Gryffindor. I tried to get Hufflepuff.
The quiz is too smart for you.
It is.
You can't sway it.
I tried to sway. I'm like, I want to get Hufflepuff, and then it's like, you're a Gryffindor. I'm like, oh,
all right.
Dang it.
Well, back to our topic at hand. I think all these are good ideas. What is there any other thing you specifically want to pitch for, or should we go ahead and try and form this into a top 5? We currently have 6 that we've pitched.
I think the Night Angel trilogy is pretty good.
What's that?
Basically, dude's an assassin. It's a little kid. He gets orphan off the street. Basically, one of my
Brian Weeks, right?
Brent Weeks.
Brent Weeks.
Yeah, one of my D&D characters, actually. Yeah.
Oh yeah, named after him.
Yeah. So I mean, kid, like orphan, gets adopted by this master assassin because the master assassins are basically like Durzo, and I can't remember the other guy's name. He's like, hey, I bet I can train an apprentice better than you. Be like, psh, nuh-uh. So they both get apprentices. So he gets, the other dude gets a female apprentice, like a little girl, and then he gets, Kyler, who's a little boy. And that's what happens. So they grow up, but then they love each other. So they fall in love.
Of course.
Like you do.
Mm-hmm. Nice. So what kind of how would you like to see that? And
it's very dark and very gory.
So there's romance and it's dark. That's weird for you. What kind of an animation style would you see that in?
That one would have to be anime too.
Anime.
Okay. You can't 2D cartoon it. Like Critical Role would be hilarious as a 2D. Newman would be great as a 2D. What were some of the other things I said?
Dreams and Shadows.
Dreams and Shadows would be CG, I think. No, Percy Jackson would be CG.
Oh, right.
And then I would say, like, these darker ones, like these darker books, I'd say do them in an anime style.
Okay. Oh, I forgot you said Newman. Golly, we've got a lot here. All right,
Dude,
so your only other one was Rift War. Is that going to break into the top 5, you think?
I would love the Rift War saga to be in there, but it's an older series by Raymond Feist that I don't know that a lot of people have read.
I haven't.
Yeah. But if you just did like The Magician and The Magician Apprentice as a movie, I think it would be pretty good. Because it was originally one book, but it's like, ooh, that's a lot of paper. Split it. So that's what they did.
All right. Well, let's get down to nitty gritty here. What do you feel like there's one that definitely stands out amongst the rest?
We're not putting Harry Potter on the list.
That's just understood.
It's just understood.
Okay. Harry Potter, Kling Klang, King of the Rim Ram Room. You were pretty... I liked your arguments for Critical Role. Of the ones you pitched, that's the one I'm most interested in.
What about Newman?
Oh, yeah, Newman. I think
Newman would be...
That's really good.
I see. Newman would... And Newman's the one that I can see them doing first. Like, the other ones, they're probably not going to do. Critical Role, maybe. But Newman, I mean, I don't see why not.
Yeah, I feel like I'm less interested in Percy Jackson just because I feel like it's not unique enough. Like, I feel like we've seen it with Harry Potter, we've seen it with Troll Hunters. Like, I don't see it standing out as an individual entity enough. Yeah. You know,
and his newer books kind of suck. So
yeah. How did you feel about Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell?
I guess
you feeling that. That one to me is now that I think about it, it's kind
like
of
a hard sell.
Yeah, I would prefer to have his Dark Materials on the list.
That one sounded. I like that one a little bit better. Because I mean, you have multiple things that you could pop on there.
Okay, so between then Dreams and Shadows and the Night Angel trilogy, which one would you prefer?
Dreams and Shadows.
Okay.
Because I mean, Night Angel trilogy, that it's gore and then other stuff. So it's one of those that I don't see them ever doing. I don't even think HBO is confident enough to take on the Night Angel trilogy.
So you're going Dreams and Shadows?
Dreams and Shadows.
Over the top. Okay, so then between Percy Jackson and Night Angel trilogy, which one would you pick?
Night Angel? Oh, no, Percy.
Percy?
Night Angel.
Dude, I already circled it in pen.
Percy.
You can switch it. Do you
Percy.
want Percy? Okay.
But...
Nope, too late. All right, so here we go. Here's our top 5. As debated, not very heatedly.
By two idiots.
By two idiots who don't know anything about anything. Number 5, Percy Jackson and his pen sword. Number 4, Dreams and Shadows
would you
from
like
Austin,
to know
Massachusetts.
Would you like the name, the what words?
The name of the pen?
Would you like, yeah.
Sure.
Riptide.
Oh, I was going to go Bic. His Dark Materials is number 3. Critical Role, number 2.
Newman.
And the webcomic Newman is our number 1 pick. I think that could be really fun. I kind of almost had like Zootopia visions, but with fantasy characters. That could be really fun.
And yeah, will you do me a favor? Will you read the first 5 chapters?
Sure. I'll read it.
Today.
Today? I can't today.
You can. I believe in you.
Oh, you have that much confidence in me?
Mm-hmm, I do.
Well, if you believe in me, Josh, I can't today.
Gavin, to go off of one of our previous guests, Mr. Kyle Hebert, who voiced Kamina from Gurren Lagann, you don't have to believe in you. Believe in the me that believes in you.
Is that what he said?
Yeah. Believe in the me that believes in you.
That's awesome. All right.
Believe in the Kamina.
Because Kyle said it, then I'll believe it.
Just like Naruto.
But I can't do it today.
Yeah, I got to go to work now, so.
It sucks. Okay. FYI, I did look up the opening weekend box office for Lego Batman.
How bad is that?
And it was 53 million.
See?
So this one opening with 39 million with not a world famous iconic character.
Yeah, this is true.
I think that's fantastic. Like, not many of your average people out there know what the heck Lego Ninjago is. If they don't have kids watching that show on TV, they don't know what that is.
Or you walk down the Lego aisle and see ninjas and you're like, huh.
Yeah.
Oh, so I found that dragon Lego, $49.99.
Oh, the mech?
Yeah.
Ooh.
I was like,
how big is it, do you think?
I don't know.
How many pieces was it?
It looked big. I didn't look. I just saw the price. It was on the little kiosk and with all the Ninjago stuff, and I was like, $49.99.
At the mall?
Oh, no, I didn't go to the mall.
Oh.
I went to go see a movie at the mall. Completely forgot there was a Lego store.
Yeah, we went together, remember?
That's right. You were there.
Hilarious.
No, I went to Target.
Nice.
I went to the Target.
Cool.
Target, yay.
Target.
Oh, God, I can't do that.
Do you have any shout-outs?
Shout out to nobody. I hate everyone.
Wow.
No, shout out
Classic
to Cloud
Josh.
City Class. I'm glad they think I still listen.
Yeah. They're awesome.
No,
guess
Brittany
what?
Brittany and I were talking. She was like, "I'm surprised you still listen."
That's hilarious.
And I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "But I need ammo."
Yeah,
I
that's
have
true.
to.
You do.
They're one of the few
consume for ammo.
podcasts that makes me hot. So I'm like, I gotta have ammo.
I get to see them next week. Woo!
You suck.
I'm so excited.
Oh, speaking of next week, Gavin won't be here.
Yeah, we're gonna have some off and ons for the October hostings, but Corey will be back and it'll be great. I'm sure. I have faith in you guys.
And we may have a special guest.
Oh, cool.
We may get the Hana on, but
Ooh,
I don't know.
Nice. I like it. Very cool. Well, I just have one extra little thing I want to throw in here at the end. As many of you probably know, Inktober has now begun when this episode comes out. If you don't know what Inktober is, it's a thing that Jake Parker started on Instagram and other social media sites 2 or 3 years ago. And it's basically a challenge where you do an ink drawing for every single day in the month of October. Well, I'm going to be participating in it this month, and I'm going to be creating 31 original ink drawings.
Like Baskin Robbins.
Yes. Just like Baskin Robbins. Mine won't be as delicious, though,
Okay.
unfortunately. So here's what's going to happen. I'm going to put every single one of them up for sale. I'm going to make announcements of this. So if you follow me on anything, you will have seen my announcement for this already. But 100% of my sales for Inktober, I'm going to be sending to help Puerto Rico. And so I haven't figured out exactly where I'm sending the money to yet, what foundation. But once I do, I will be transparent. I will let you guys know. So if you want some fun Halloween art and you want to make the world a better place,
You can't steal that.
I'm gonna give you a chance to buy some cool drawings, and I'm gonna be sending all of the funds to Puerto Rico to help out with that tragic mess that's happening there that we need to make sure we're all doing our part for. So that's that. You got anything else, Josh?
Got nothing else. Gavin, where can
Sweet.
everybody find you?
Instagram and Twitter at Gavin Audison Art. On the internet, GavinAudisonArt.com.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh L. Kane. You can find the podcast on AnimationStationPodcast.com. Click on the podcast tab. You can also find us on iTunes and Stitcher. Wow, I messed that up.
Yeah, you kind of just dropped right there.
Went.
Interesting.
You can also find us on... Wow, jeez. Wow, Lord of mercy. Lord of mercy. You can find us on Instagram at Animation Station Podcast and on Twitter at Animate Podcast. You can also find us on Tumblr at Animation Station Podcast and join our Facebook group, Animation Station Podcast.
Mm-hmm. You said the iTunes and Stitcher.
iTunes
We also have a
Stitcher.
podcast tab on our website. Find all of our episodes
Said that.
on all those. You did?
Yep.
Okay. I got lost there too. So just
I
making sure we
went
got
down
everything covered.
I went down a weird rabbit hole. 'Cause I looked at a tweet that Johnny Young Bosch sent out, and I'm like, oh, yeah.
Ooh.
Pretty good. Don't go there.
Don't go there. That's hilarious.
All right. So for the Animation Station Podcast, I'm Josh.
I'm Gavin.
Try to make the world a better place.
Made you look.
Thank you for listening to the Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Animation Station Podcast. Follow us on Twitter at Animate Podcast. Subscribe to us on iTunes and join the conversation at SecretSuperheroClub.com, where you can connect with our podcast friends, Cloud City Cast, Getting Into Comics, and Shaun of the Gathering.